So Jake sees a third event revealing development of religion, which I imagine he's going to use, given that he has 3 population. Beyond that, oh, he's finally developing the knights, gaining some rocks, and building the knights and the phalanx and the warriors, and getting phalanx, which was to be expected given these 2 units. And for his last 2 actions, he's going to get the irrigation. And finally, the military development that I expected from him. And now I'm wondering, in retrospect, whether I should have plundered him just to slow that down. Given that one of his cards was a tactic, the other was an event. I'm doubtful these 2 are defense cards, but who knows? Hindsight is 2020. Claudius is next, and I'm imagining he's going to match up the military development. Not setting an event, he increases population, gets the knights, builds the knights, and get heavy cavalry. Oh wow, that serves him very well with Genghis Khan. And beyond that, he's getting the alchemy, and he's getting the swordsman. So next turn, he will be able to develop one of these, but not the other. So AlienJake has played this whole game without a leader so far, which I find quite interesting. And looking at the overall statistics, I thought I'm doing quite well, and now when I look at the numbers, I'm much less excited. So overall, looking at this side of the board, we're practically equivalent to each other, except that AlienJake got 1 more population out than the 2 of us, and so he's going to be 1 population ahead. He has the happiness, and I am slightly ahead in civil actions, especially over Jake, and 1 civil action ahead of Claudius74. So my original plan for this turn was, I can't get the temple unfortunately, was to finish the Taj Mahal, get the alchemy, upgrade the alchemy, and for my last unit with 1 action, grab 1 of these cards, which is going to be, honestly, either one of these 3 looks pretty interesting right now. Urban growth gives me a significant discount on this second alchemy. Breakthrough science is always nice, and a 1 action breakthrough is generally a good choice. I wouldn't be surprised if Jake takes it if I don't. And iron, none of us is ahead in rocks right now, so I think this is one place where I could gain advantage. And I imagine that Jake's next turn, he will go either for irrigation or the sprinting press. I would get sprinting press. Yep, he's fine with population for now. He's going to get 1 more yellow out of the bank, and he needs the science. And for Claudius, I imagine he's going to catch up on the science gap as well. So, yeah, getting these 3 points from the Taj Mahal is nice. Getting this out 2 or 3 turns earlier, it's 6 to 9 points. So it's interesting. With that said, given that I'm not as far ahead as I thought, and that civil elections is my main advantage right now, is this really how I want to spend it? And the answer is probably not. So let's keep Taj Mahal from now. It's going to have to wait for another day. Instead, I am going to get the alchemy and upgrade, which puts me in a nice position with regards to science. And I'm going to look at the card draw and see which of these cards I want. So, given that this has been a science poor game, I think that the breakthrough is an easy choice. And then the question is, do I want to go into iron sooner rather than later? And I could see 2 options. If I don't go for iron, then I should use my actions to get more events that give stones. So rich land for the irrigation, that's going to happen next turn, and urban growth for the next alchemy. The other option is to take the iron, and if I take the iron, then I'm pretty sure rich land is the way to go. although in this case I cannot research the iron next turn, so maybe instead I should upgrade my alchemy so that next turn I can research iron and upgrade. And then in this case I will I take the urban growth or the drama? So I'm getting the iron for net 3, which means the following turn I'll have 7. So I could take the drama and go for the drama the following turn. I'll have one population to put there, and that will help me with my happy faces a bit and generate some points. Because in this configuration, I don't really need an urban growth right now. So I think the question is, do I want iron and the drama or the urban growth, or alternatively skip the iron, go straight for coal, and pick up the rich land for the irrigation and the urban growth. And honestly, it's a pretty tricky decision right now. Age 1 is ending, so going into iron now, it's a bit tricky. With that said, this is a science poor and resource poor game, so I might be able to pull it off. I don't think either of these guys is in a strong position to skip to coal. So going to iron now might work out. So one question I haven't answered that might decide this one way or the other is whether I want to seed cultural influence. And initially, I was hoping to go for the Taj Mahal, in which case the cultural influence gives me 1 point for sitting and one more for the Taj Mahal, at least given the current state of the board. However, since I don't have any culture production, at least for now, cultural influence is a net loss of 1 point against AlienJake and Claudius. However, thinking of a few other considerations. One, I haven't seeded any events, and I have no idea what's waiting here. Jake seeded 3 of them, and he was pretty aggressive with seeding the events, even in the face of potential corruption. So it's really difficult for me to assess what he could have seeded. For Claudius, I probably should be able to estimate what's going on. I doubt it's a colony. It could be something strength related. He did have Genghis Khan, so so sitting an event is going to give me some control of the deck. At least I'll know that one thing is safe. With that said, it's going to push all of these a turn sooner, so if there are military-based events there, I will be in trouble. Um, so, so a bit of a pro and con here. With that said, I think that if resources do show up, then I can use them, and I'm not sure the same is completely true for Jake and Claudius. Claudius probably yes. Jake he's facing corruption, so I'm not sure. I think I will go with the event and see what comes up. Okay, so we have 2 more stones to play with, and I do not want the temple. Oh man, I wish I had 1 more science to go for iron right now. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So we're going to get the alchemy and upgrade. I put myself in trouble. Now I have corruption. Poor planning on my end. So I really don't want to deal with this corruption, unfortunately. So I'm going to build 1 stage of the wonder. I am going to pick the breakthrough, and I am going to take the iron. And next turn, hopefully, I can go into iron. And I hope that's going to give me the advantage I need going into H2. So a bit of a mistake with the decision to seed an event, and in retrospect, looking at the deck, it's the same argument I had last turn. 4 of these cards provide resources which I actually cannot use, so it was a 2 out of 3 chance. With that said, if it was development, I really want to push it before age 2, because right now Jake and Claudius are much more are better set up to take advantage of an age 2 tactic, which I'm not. So there was a risk there. I don't think it's a significant problem. It might end up being the right decision after all. So let's see what happens next. So I need to discard 1 of these. I think at this point I'm going to value enslave higher than plunder, so in the off chance I'm going for aggressions, this is probably the way to go. And that's going to be the end of age 1. And here's the last swordsman. The first event, the first card from age 2 is Oprah. And I got 2 tactics and rats. Interesting. So I'll need to think about these rats for the next turn, although with irrigation I'm not sure it's going to be the way to go. So right now the plan for next turn is to get the iron. However, these things often do not work out as expected, so let's see what happens.